Oh boy, that was quick. We're live already.
We're live already. Live already. Our guests are backstage doing raising the roof there. So I'm super excited for today's show. Welcome to Real Estate Now, Keith Pitch, Loan Depot. I am joined by Stacy Chevalier.
Hi.
Hi. What's new, Stacy?
What's new?
What's new?
It's month end is over. That's awesome. Happy October 1st, everybody.
Happy October 1st. Here we go. We're ramping up into the final quarter of what is the best year ever in mortgage. We've got to qualify that statement. But so we've got an amazing show set up today for fellow loan officers, real estate professionals, business people in general, that here we are rolling into the fourth quarter. It typically means all the holiday mumbo jumbo as well as getting ready for 2021, because successful years start the quarter before the year even gets here. So we've got an amazing guest, Anthony, with Southwest Consultants. But before we bring Anthony in,
Southwestern Consulting. He corrects me. Southwestern Consulting.
Southwestern. I forgot the earn. Yeah, Southwestern Consulting. So before we bring Anthony in, though, I wanted to do something that we do every week. We're going to talk about interest rates and where they're going and what they've done. And so they ticked down just a little bit. They were at 2.9 last week. They're at 2.88. Not a significant shift. But there's lots of talk. There's two-sided talk going on right now that I just want everybody to be aware of. Talk number one is we have folks like the CEO of Lending Tree coming out at the beginning of this year, or this week, stating that interest rates in his forecasts, and it's been also reiterated by some other hedge fund managers, that interest rates could go down. The 30-year could go down to 2.5, right?
What? That's crazy town.
2.5, and that would just be super crazy town. I totally agree with that. But then we have the other side of the coin, where we're having these congressional hearings, we're having these other hedge fund managers saying, hey, if Fannie and Freddie come out of conservatorship like they're supposed to, this is going to have a huge negative impact on the market. So what I want to just urge everybody to account in today's environment is there's no time like the present. One in hand is worth two in the bush. So if you want to make sure that you can get that refi at a really super awesome low rate, historically low rate, don't wait. Don't speculate. Just get into it. So that's my fair word of warning. Stacy, what's your feelings on the topic?
Well, I've been saying since March that rates are going to keep going down. So I agree with you. Rates are incredibly amazing right now. So good time to purchase, good time to refi. So there's no reason to wait.
Yeah, and the National Association of Realtors said that in August, we sold the most units in America that we've ever sold. It's amazing. It's up 9.8% year over year, and we sold more units in August than any other month in history. So things are
popping. We're in a really unusual market where it's a refi market and a purchase market. Like in 20 years, I've never seen anything like it. So for all you folks out there looking to purchase, looking to refi, be patient with your lender, whoever that is. It's just all-time high, capacity is high, but us and I'm sure almost all other lenders will protect that interest rate for you once you get locked in. So just have some patience and be grateful that you're in a position where you can either purchase or refinance.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So knowing that things are hot right now, we're gonna bring in Anthony and talk about how in Q4, Anthony, do we start getting ready for 2021, my friend? Just jumping right into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, welcome, Anthony. So Anthony and I, just to give some background, have worked together for 5+ years. I don't want to. I'll talk about this briefly at the end. But I'm gonna talk about it right now, just because it should be talked about twice. If you don't have a coach, I don't care who your coach is. It should be this guy. But if it's not this guy, just get a coach. Changed my life. So.
And I second that. And Anthony, you have to forgive me, as one of the biggest Pearl Jam fans ever. I can't believe that I didn't notice the pictures up on the top of your bookshelf, my friend. Look at that. Yes.
There's 2 more over there. There's one in my baby's room that I got last 2 years ago in Prague when I saw him in the Czech Republic. Yeah, there's one in the living room. I'm surprised my wife lets me have this many of them.
Awesome.
Wow, so you're like a Midwesterner, but really you wish you were a Seattleite.
I was born in Kirkland, Stace.
Did I know that?
Yes.
Wow, dropping the knowledge.
Yeah, my grandma's still there. I got cousins and
No
aunts and
way.
uncles and all that
And
stuff.
you've never come and visited? What?
I've been to Seattle plenty. Yeah.
Oh,
But,
I'm just not invited to the. I get it. We're kind of friends.
no, you've been living vicariously through traveling to mansions in the West Coast and Palm Springs and Yellowstone and all that stuff. You're boot scooting as well.
Right. Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So every year, Anthony helps me plan a massive, amazing event for business planning. We always do it in October. I remember before things were locked down, walking through the Bellevue Square Mall and seeing a colleague at a different company after Christmas, but before New Year's, with loan officers doing their business planning. And I was like, what? Like, oh, it's a little late. So whatever, we got to start planning now for what we want to have happen January 2021. So things are a little different this year. We're not having this big event. So let's kind of talk through for the people out there how they can make a successful business planning event and what that means.
Yeah, that's like, and what you just described there, I wish that was the worst of it. Like, that's kind of like shopping for your kid's Christmas, your wife's Christmas, like on Christmas Eve, which I've been guilty of before. But I see so many salespeople, regardless of the industry, and they're doing their business plan. They're I still got to finish my business plan. And it's like February.
Sorry, I laugh at that, but it's not funny.
I mean, yeah. and there's some salespeople that just like, they don't do it. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to like do one of those. And I'm here to say, first of all, a business plan that we're going to go through today, this is really in depth. I've done business plans on a napkin in a bar, just cranking out what my plan is. And I've done, 10 pages of typed out, single space, 8 font, just massive brain dump and everything in between. And it's the depth. One of the sayings that we have at Southwestern Consulting is the depth of your vision is the endurance of your work ethic. Because stuff's going to happen next year. You're going to be motivated sometimes, and you're going to be over it sometimes. I mean, there's LOs. Most LOs this year are making more money maybe than they ever have, or at least having an amazing year. Some people are doubling what they made last year. Some people already had an income where they had 2 commas in it, and they're still doubling what they did last year.
That is correct.
Next year, we don't know what's going to happen. But even right now, with all we coach more LOs than even mortgage-specific coaching companies. And we're hearing it from a lot of them right now is, I'm making really good money, but darn it, I'm kind of over this. I'm feeling stressed out. I could use a vacation, but I'm not supposed to go anywhere. And my guest, I was having a conversation with one of my guys. He's a former major league pitcher. And he's having a killer year, going from like 40 million. I think he's going to do like 100 this year, but he wants to be done. Like, he's talked about not being in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of us go through stuff like that, right? Where I'm just frustrated, whether it's processing or underwriting or my clients, or I lost a realtor, or my boss has his head on backwards, or whatever it is. Realistically, you do anything. I mean, I could go see these guys all day, every day also, which is the world that a lot of LOs are in, right?
Yeah.
So
I think so, because you froze there for a second, or I froze. One of the two. But we were talking before the show started. There's kind of two parts that we really have to prepare for: the numbers part and what our action plan is, and then the mentality side of it, getting into 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, which side do you want to start on?
So it's weird. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I'll cover both. I will cover both. I'm not gonna go super deep into the pulling out the calculator part. Personality, if you're a really high I on the disc, starting with numbers might not be the best thing. But if you're sure, right? But if you're a really high C, a compliant and analytical, or the fighter, the driver, a high D, starting with quality of life might not be the right place to start, right? Starting with numbers might be better. So however you start, it's just important to have both. Okay. So with the numbers piece, obviously putting out a number of a goal that you want to hit, the first thing we want to make sure that we're doing with our goals is that they're SMART goals. Okay. And sure, probably half the people that watch it's like, yeah, I've heard of SMART goals, and the other half like have not heard that. So SMART goals, this is really important for whatever goals that you have. The SMART. Okay, so the S is specific. Our goals need to be specific. So many people like, oh, I want to do better next year. I want to have balance. And that's not a SMART goal. That's not a specific goal. That's just kind of a general, that's like a hope or a dream or a wish, or I'd like to do that. Okay. So they need to be specific. The M is they need to be measurable. If you have a goal, it probably needs to have a number with it. And with things like quality of life or balance or relationships, it's okay to kind of start somewhere. Like a client that wants to have good balance in their life, work on their relationships, 3 date nights a month with their spouse, or 3 date days with their kid. Like the 3 or the 4 or the 7, it doesn't matter, but put a number to it.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're doing it if you don't have something to measure? Right. That's just like the LO right now that's doing so well. They've blasted past their goals. Like I didn't think I would double this year. I didn't think I would double the money that I made last year. And last year was a really, really great year. Stacey, you don't know anybody like that, right? That may have doubled last year and is doubling again. Right. You're a badass, seriously. But that's what happens when we don't have, like, we should have a goal out there that scares us. We should put a number out there that if everything goes right, hell, we might win the World Series. We might win the Super Bowl. I don't know. Like something that really scares us. But the M is measurable. We need to have goals with numbers on it. The A, S-M-A-R-T, the A is it needs to be attainable. I see way too many people, they shoot for I hope I hit the moon, so I'm going to shoot for the sun. And they set these really high goals. I did 10 million last year. This year, I'm going to do 80 million. And maybe that's the case. But maybe rates will change next year. Maybe inventory will go down next year. Maybe weird stuff will happen. Like, I don't know, look at this year, right? Meteor hits. I don't want to put that.
No, don't say that.
Right, yeah. But we don't know what's going to happen. And it could be great things. Like I'm about to have my second baby in about 5 weeks, and I'll have 2 human children under the age of 2. That's going to change my shit. That's going to change my life.
Yes, it will.
It's a great thing, right? I'm going to have to build an awesome man treehouse in my backyard that I can go escape to, right? Did you have to kick your kids out of that, Keith, or do you let them up after work?
Yeah, no. So I built it for the intention that they were going to be able to play in it. And then after we had an extended lockdown, I'm like, okay, you guys are out of the treehouse. It's my treehouse now.
Yeah, bingo. So
my tree office, actually.
There we go. Oh, we've got a visitor. Hello. Keith, do we have a visitor?
You do.
Yeah, we do.
Hunter.
Well, there's my son that I kicked out.
You're live, Hunter.
Doing homework or something?
Yeah, he's on body break right now, so he was probably trying to find me to play some tag. But I'll catch up with you later, okay? Okay. Cool. So yes, there they are.
So with a goal, and this is a really simple thing, set a low, medium, and a high level goal. Set a goal that you know that you hit. So maybe what you did on a normal year plus a little bit. I would encourage people maybe not to take this year and say, oh, next year I'm going to grow 20%. Because if rates change, we can't go refi everybody that we already refied this year. So I would actually tell you to look at your purchase business. What is your purchase business this year? And maybe add one more unit to it. That's a really good goal because you know you did it. You know you can do it. If I just go to work, I can pretty much control all of the things that got me there. I'm going to go hit that. Okay. And I've even seen some people that, you know, that they're those high eyes and they kind of get in their own head and they beat themselves up. So what's a goal that you know you can hit in the year, but you'd like to hit in August? That's a really good low goal. How good does it feel when you set a mark and you get to cross it off? How good does that feel, Keith? You're a high eye, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's awesome.
Bingo. Yes. Yeah. So that's a really good low goal, and it gives you momentum. That word is massive. Yeah. Okay. Then the medium goal is kind of like your main goal, right? Like the Mariners finished one spot out of the playoffs, right? This year, baseball stuff, right?
Yeah.
The Seahawks, their low goal would probably be, if we don't make the playoffs, that's a bad year for the Seahawks.
Correct.
Right? Yep. So their medium goal is probably making it to the NFC Championship or the, you know, against my Packers or to the Super Bowl. And then the high goal, and then the high goal is winning the show, like destroying them in the Super Bowl and having a great, So your medium goal should be just kind of your overall success. Like that's your main target. And then your high goal should be, man, if all the chips fall right and we keep rolling, what's possible? And the high goal should scare you, right? And this is a really good year to exemplify why having a high goal is important and is a good idea. And really what high actually means, like what your stretch goal is. Rather than just, 10%, how about 20% my stretch goal? Well, maybe double. Maybe double should be your stretch goal.
Our stretch goal for our team was double. We didn't know about the pandemic, but we're going to make it.
Yes.
And we called it last October.
You might hit it you might hit it this month.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
all right. So we're on the R. We have a specific
R is it needs to be in most. It needs to be reviewed and stuff, but this is for our. It needs to be realistic. But for us, our R is it needs to be reviewed regularly. Like you've got your pipeline on your wall, Keith.
Yep.
Awesome. What gets tracked gets done.
Yeah.
Our goals need to be reviewed. Where am I? Absolutely. Where am I in January? Where am I supposed to be by March? Where am I supposed to be by June, by August, by November? And not just with results, but with activity. It needs to be reviewed regularly. And T, got to have a deadline with all of this stuff. It's easy to say end of year goals. There's a really great book called The 12-Week Year. Yes. Yep.
Love it.
And especially for Keith, like you and I, a year-long goal, brother. I forgot about that, right? Unless we do all of this stuff to keep us to keep us motivated with it. But even breaking down, like if I'm going to lose 10 pounds, if we're going to buy a rental property, if we're going to go on vacation, like by when? Not just by this year, but really putting dates down. Now, it is a saying from Anthony Merkel, because I'm a very high eye. You do not hit your goals. And this is an important piece. The reason a lot of people don't do a good business plan and don't stretch themselves and they don't plan for if everything goes well and if everything goes bad, like what am I going to do, is because they put so much pressure on themselves. Like I'm only good if I hit my goals. I'm only good if I make as much money as I did last year. Well, what if you made 60% of what you did last year? And you could guarantee that nobody else thought any different of you. Would it actually matter? Do we go on less vacations? Do we save less? Are we going to miss a meal? Those are all very different questions. But I know when I've had years where I've actually decreased business, And I look back, it was actually my pride being bruised way more than my pocketbook. Right. And so you don't get to heaven by hitting your goals, and you're not a bad person if you miss them. The purpose of a business plan is to give us focus and to prepare us for the road ahead. Those are the two things: give us focus over time and to plan us for the road ahead. So, so that's kind of the numbers piece. And once we figure out what those goals are, whether it's production and some of the lifestyle goals, right? Break down whatever those numbers are by quarter, by month, by week. Some of them it's appropriate to do by day. Like I need to have 20 conversations with prospects every day. I need to call 30 past clients each week. But to have measurable activity goals, because we cannot control results. We can't, as much as we try. And if there's one thing that all this COVID stuff has actually taught us in the coaching world, is that our clients and ourselves, we can actually control a lot less than we thought we could. We can't control whether or not I go to school. We can't control whether or not I had an office. Like, where was that in our business plan? If my kids can't go to school for a year, I'll do this. That wasn't on anybody's head. But this year should be an example that, well, maybe, like, what are the things I can actually control, and am I? Because if you are, you're probably going to have a really great year. Okay. So I want to get into, and we'll still touch on some of the numbers stuff, but we have a business plan outline that I'm going to share with you guys, but I'll go through it with you. It's 7 steps to staying motivated. Okay. 7 steps to staying motivated. So number 1 is your overall goal. What is your goal? And whatever they are, you can have a list of them. But my goal is X, and it needs to be reviewed. Man, some people review their goals daily. Like, it's literally laminated in their shower. It's on their mirror so that they see it. What we see, man, it's that whole manifesting it. And I'm not putting crystals on our forehead and stuff like that, but we need to see it regularly. So whatever your total units are, break down whatever that is per week, per day, and understanding, okay, so if I'm going to hit this number for the year, what would January and February and March, and if there is a bell curve, what could that look like? And maybe what could a flatter year look like? And this is why I've had years where my business plan was, a stack of typed out pages, because I really let my brain go there. And the same thing with your team. How many people do I want on my team? Like, some of us are recruiters. Some of us are building an organization. How many offers? How many accepted offers? What is my total team's production? How do I want to finish? Like, ranking in my, like, these are all different levels of what these goals are. What's my ranking in my company? Do I want to be like Stacy and be like number 1 in the whole freaking company, depending on what month you're looking at? How many new, like, leaders do I want? Like, really looking at the deeper you go and the more specific, the more terrific. So that's number 1, is what are my goals? Okay. Number 2, so this is step 2. What is the pay value of hitting my goals? What are the benefits of hitting my goals? What happens if I hit it? And we need to define it. Now, some of these questions I'm going to ask, we go deep. Okay. So with your personal goals, what's the actual profit? What would be my income on my W-2 if I do all this? What does that money mean to me? What will all of that money go to? And actually spend it. And I don't mean spend it on stuff, but allocate it down to the penny. Because when you do that, you emotionally attach to all of the activity that you have to do to get there. And you emotionally attach to the joys of hitting it and getting those things, and also attach to the emotions of not being able to go on the vacation, or the private school tuition, or the retirement account, or the second home, or whatever it is. Getting out of debt. This next one's money. For those away or negative motivated people, who are your skeptics? Who are your people that don't believe in you? Who are the people that laugh at your goals or that you're afraid to tell your goals because they may not agree with it? And why are they skeptical? Like writing out a list of you. This is something I do with all of my salespeople for the last 18 years with Southwestern Consulting or with Southwestern. Make a list of all the people that don't believe in you and why. And for some people, that absolutely drives them. Some people are towards motivated. Who are the people that you want to make proud? I remember my first sales job. I told my dad what I was doing. He said, sounds hard. It's probably good for you. Don't come crying to me if you don't do well. So I wasn't going to do that. Right. And then I also had just some buddies that we had this and this and this planned. You're going to be traveling. You're going to be gone. Like, that's stupid. Why would you? I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's powerful. But I also had my ma, right? I didn't want to let her down. She's like, yeah, this is going to be hard, but absolutely you can do this. I believe in you, Yep. Give me some mom. And I didn't want to let her down. So who are the people that you want to make proud? I look at my vision board right now and I've got the word legacy in the middle of it. Pictures of my little man, about to be two of them. Like that's real. Because making a few more $1,000s or tens of thousands of dollars really won't change my life that much. But sitting back and just being fat on my couch because I'm doing well financially, I don't want to raise a family like that. Like, right? The internal pulls and pushes. The next one, what are the awards that you definitely are committed to winning? Whether it's President's Club, Chairman's Club, all the different awards. And I will say this, awards that are based on activity, not just production, and not every company has these, will help you avoid stress. If your company doesn't have these, set them for yourself. Like if I have 20 meetings with realtors in a month, I'm going to take 2 days off and do this. But if I only have 10, I only get 1 day off and I get to, I have to have natural light on my little 1 day vacation. And if I have less than 10, that little 2 day vacation or 1 day vacation or whatever it is. And it's just the stuff that we can control. Activity awards and rewards help you avoid stress. The next one, what do you have the burning desire to accomplish with your life and how will this help you? So if I'm going to hit all these goals, like what is some of your vision? What's your purpose? We have an exercise that's called 20 whats to find your why. And it's just 20 questions that anybody could be asked. And you just kind of short answer them, rapid fire, help figure out like, why are you doing all this stuff? Because we know over time, money is a negative motivator. We become entitled to our income and not like it's the championship that we want to go hit. So what are your meaningful emotional purposes? And so that's but it's the same thing with your team. Like if we're recruiting, if we're building an organization, and it might even be like if you're young in the business or you have a long track record in front of you, how will hitting these goals help me towards my future career? How long do I see myself as part of this company? What's my vision for what I'd like to accomplish? What kind of organization do I want to build? Like these are the things with what's the value and the benefits of me hitting these goals. Okay, so this is number 2. Number 3.
Wait, I'm on number 6. You're at what?
That was all number 2. That was all number 2.
Wow. Okay.
Right, and not all of these are gonna be a thing for us. Some of these you can just short answer, but some of them might hit a thing for us. If we don't have kids, like if I'm a 23-year-old, just young, right out of college, whatever, and I'm just slinging, making money for me, the whole legacy stuff won't attach to my brain. I want to make some money. I want some toys. Whatever, right? I want to live the dream. But once we have kids and all that stuff and our perspective changes, then all of a sudden those things are different. So number 2 is what's the value? What's the effect of hitting my goals? Number 3, what's the pain that I want to avoid by not hitting my goals? What would be the negative results, the negative effects by coming up short of hitting my goals? Like cutting back expenses. What if we have a plan to build the house or buy the house or move that we have to kick that back another year, stay in a house that doesn't fit us. Maybe it's not going on. And actually, I've done this before. You envision your friend that you went to the President's Club and you took the same flight to Mexico or whatever on your President's Club trip. What if I have to drive them to the airport next year because I don't hit it, but they do? What if I'm at the awards banquet and I see other people getting awards that I should be winning and I'm not? Not because I'm not happy for them, but because I let myself off the hook on some of this stuff. That's how deep we can go with setting goals and doing a business plan. Facing your skeptics and seeing them say, whoop, told you so. Not having money for vacation, saving, tuition, investments, private school, whatever it is. What are the negative effects? Like, what's that pain for me not hitting my goals? Yep. Number 4, this is where we go into some of the planning stuff. What are the obstacles and problems that I need to overcome? The possible problems and obstacles that I need to overcome. Okay. So with this, we actually do need to get kind of elementary and list them. Because if we try to keep them in our head, we won't make a very good list. And the goal is to not get kicked or punched in the stomach and get the wind knocked out of you when some of them happen. Okay. What are your weak points in selling? What's the part of the cycle of sales that you're not very good at? I'm really good at getting people on the phone, but I don't like asking for the business. It makes me feel awkward. Or I'm really good at closing, but man, my pipeline's just not full. Like I'm not great at asking for referrals. Whatever that is. What are your points in selling? What are your red flags in your schedule? And what's your plan to deal with them? Like I remember one year I made a rule that between the hours of 9 and 5, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., I was not allowed to go to a place that accepted money because I was doing a little bit of retail therapy. Or I'd just go get a coffee or I'd go, oh, I need to run by here and get this. A little drops of dopamine made me feel better. And so I just made a rule. Either I got to do that before, after, or on the weekends, but I'm never allowed to go buy something during the day. Because I let my brain go there. It got me off track last year. I don't want that same thing to beat me again. How will you handle a really slow start? Like, what if January and February and March, who's had those years, right? Where I'm like, well, I'm sitting at about 6 units and it's March. And the same thing with what if I have a really fast start? Like, do we remember winter of 2019 and 2020? Some of us were having some of our best months in Q4 and Q1.
Yep.
What if so? And we've seen people get complacent. And this is a really important one. How will you make sure that you finish the year strong? So my client, that's a former pro pitcher, if he would have asked himself that question up front, what are you going to do to make sure that your Q4 is awesome? If it's great or if it's bad or whatever, we used to have it's an award we called it Guts Club, and we just had it was a stupid little dinner that we would all go to and whatever, but it was all about having the best in the fourth quarter, having our best activity numbers. And not worrying about results at all. Just getting back to the same thing in Q1 is having like a really great start means having really great metrics in the front. So that's number 4. And an important question to ask with this one also is, are you definitely committed to finishing your year strong, finishing and being with your company, working with your leader, staying in your career, no matter what happens? Like, I don't know about the year after, but I'm going to finish this career. I'm going to finish this year. And I'm not going to make a decision because I'm on an emotional high or low. And all the same questions with recruiting. Okay. So now number 5, what knowledge do I need to get there? Where do I need to sharpen my saw? Okay. So this is really good to include deadlines. I'm going to have a rehearsed, recorded, maybe even typed out sales talk by the state. I'm going to record my presentation, my realtor meeting, my client referral ask, whatever it is, by this date. I'm going to have a shadow day. I'm going to pick out 2 or 3 other LOs that are crushing, or whatever industry that you're in. Again, this has nothing to do with mortgage. But who are other professionals that are crushing in my industry that I can go sit in their passenger seat with them all day? Who would they be? Make a list of 5. And if 3 of them say yes, just go learn from them. Yeah. And when will you have that done by? When will you have the answers to all the objections that you get written down and memorized? When will you have a list of affirmations that you need, that all of us need, for when we get stinking thinking and our brain wants to do everything but the main thing? That gets, you know what? I love talking to my clients. I love working with realtors. I love the fact that we're in a market where everyone's busy and I can't get a appraiser to give us whatever it is. Like, I love that stuff. Like, those are great affirmations. I will seize the day, all that stuff. When are you going to have that written list done by? When are all of your sales meetings, and are you committing to be at all of them? Are they on your calendar? Again, this is all of the stuff that it's easy to say, I'm busy this month. Well, is that because you didn't plan, or is that because you really are, quote unquote, busy? Going through the cycle of sales, sourcing, approaching, doing your first kind of introductory discovery, fact finding, closing, helping people make a decision, having good follow-up, answering objections, solidifying a relationship, and then asking for referrals. What's your plan to improve in either in all of the areas or the 1 or 2 that are really need improving? What's your plan for improving that stuff? Because you can't just show up and LO better and expect to grow. Because if you do, it's just 100% based off the market. And there are people that still grow when the market goes down 30% because they're prepared for this stuff. So that's number 5, the knowledge that you need to get there. And then number 6, who are the people you need to get there? Okay. Who are the people you need to get there? Who do you need to talk to and ask questions? What mentors do you need to pick their brain to give you better skills, whatever information you need, working on your craft, iron sharpening iron stuff. Okay. Who will help keep you accountable to reach your goals? Sure, my wife holds me accountable. Sure, looking at my little man holds me accountable. But also I have a coach that I pay that will say what I need to hear, and it's not nagging, and it's not my boss that also makes money if I do better. So there's none of that head trash in there. It's literally just somebody that, hey, you said you were going to do this, you didn't, let's work it out. And they're not afraid of whatever BS excuse I throw back at them. Who's going to hold you accountable? I'm not saying that the spouse and the boss and the kiddos and your checkbook don't hold you accountable, but there is a limit to it. That's the main point there. Who are you sick of getting beaten by? Making that list, kind of like skeptics. Who are you gonna drill with? Who's gonna be your workout partner?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you gonna give your 7-step to staying motivated? Who are you going to give your business plan to? Who are you going to share your goals with? That's number 6. Number 7 is the game plan. Doing a daily, weekly schedule for controllable activities. So what is an ideal schedule in a normal week? And maybe there's one for like January through May, and May to November, right? There might be different ones for the different busy seasons. But what are your schedules for like when kids are in school, or maybe when kids are not in school? Although, yeah. So what does an ideal schedule look like? Like actually putting together what my perfect week could look like. What does my perfect day look like? If I had to say this day, I can do it 4 out of 5 days each week. What does that look like? What am I committed to doing on a daily or weekly basis? And maybe it's different at different parts of the year, but actually putting those down on paper, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet or whatever it is, so that you can see it. Like, what is my game plan? Think of Pete Carroll. He's got all these plays for the Seahawks to run, right? But they also have a playbook. These are professionals. I'm sure Russell Wilson knows how to throw the football, but he actually has a playbook here. These are the plays. And he actually talks about in the playoffs, Pete Carroll talks about this. In the playoffs, he takes their playbook and decreases it by about 35%. He takes a third of the playbook away. And we're only going to do the stuff that we're really, really, really good at. And we're going to hit them with it, hit them with it, hit them with it, hit them with it. What do we need to do so that we can just hit them with it, hit them with it, hit them with it, hit them with it? When we get all this stuff, this is a lot. And don't
a lot. Yeah.
You have to do all of it, and it's got to be perfect. Again, I've had great years where this is scribbled out on a napkin, and I've had great years where this is 10 pages of documents and all that stuff. Analyticals, I would encourage you to just put a date and a deadline on it, and just whatever it is at that deadline is what it is. But here's the thing. If it stays in your head, then it's dead.
Yeah, you got to share it. Yeah.
If it stays in your head, it's dead. So put it in a notebook. Add pictures to it. We have a video in our series called Real Men Make Vision Boards. And it's one of our senior partners, Miss Kitty Barrow. And yeah, she talks about like all the BS reasons why not to, like, when I look at this stuff, it makes me jacked to work hard because I know I'm going to go to Nashville or San Francisco to see, or Chicago, Wrigley Field, or New York, or wherever it is. Like, I geek about doing that stuff. I've got my, this is my vision board. Oh. And the 3 pieces of a really good vision board. Yes, goals. What's your vision? But that's only part of it. The second piece is like, what are some of the things that no matter what cannot be taken from you? Those memories can't be taken from me. The Blues winning the Stanley Cup this year and me lifting my like 30-day-old baby up into the air, geeking out, like that cannot be taken from me. And then the third thing is your sparks. These are things that are either have happened or are going to happen or just whatever. This is a letter I wrote to my dad, and he passed away last year. And when I let my brain go there, you get emotional, but you get centered on what's important. And maybe I stop worrying about, do I need a ring light for my podcast and a green screen? And this is like, go to work, do what's right, treat people well. It brings me back, right? So goals, the second one is your rocks and your anchors. That's kind of like, I have this house. If I have a bad year this year, I'm not losing it, right? It takes the pressure off of you to perform well. And the third one is the sparks, the things that geek you out when you let yourself go there and get you recentered. Redoing our third floor, whatever it is. I made a 35 by 35 when I was in my younger 30s. It was on my iPad. And I found my iPad as I was looking through my iPad notes, all those different notes. When I was sitting in an airport, I think in Europe, and just bored because we had a long layover. And I found this document. I made this years before. And it was 35 things that I wanted to do, be, see, or have by the time I was 35. Yeah. And I hadn't looked at it after I made it. And I've done 33 out of the 35 things on there.
Awesome.
Just by putting it down. I don't know. But I also had like 3 things on my, 40 by 40 and 50 by 50. So like 5 more things in total. I'd already done 4 out of the 5 of those things. And 2 of them were my incentive trip I was going to, and the one I just went on the year before that I didn't know that I was even going to be doing this 5 years ago, 8 years ago. And that was going to be my incentive trip. And there I am flying back from Iceland. That was on my freaking thing. And it's like, this is weird. It's weird. But what we put out there, man, that stuff happens. So if there's a couple things to kind of leave you with this is, yes, the goals, yes, where do you want to be and all that stuff, that's great. But going deep with your vision board will help you become a fortune teller. You will start to see things in the future, maybe not the first time you try to do this, but the more you plan, the more you'll see, like, if this stuff happens, like these are all the different things that could happen. You know, what if we get pregnant again? What if we have another kid? I will probably have family members that go through stuff that may need time. All the, you know, and all the things that could happen. We don't have to go into those. But if you let yourself on your own time, you're like, all right, if that does happen, how will I respond to that? Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, and let your brain go there. My little bulldog passed away this year. And I've had her for 12 years. She was my first, you know, and I knew the last few years that it probably could be any month. And she lived a great life, but I prepared myself for it. And I didn't lie to myself that it could never happen. And she's a dog. We all have like more people in our life, way more important than my dog. But what gets us off track probably wasn't planned for. So it's all about going there in your head beforehand. We don't fail to plan. We don't plan to fail. We fail to plan.
I was just looking for my vision board. I have my first one I made with Anthony. I was a skeptic, 100%. So it's not just men. But I did it because back then I did my homework. And I swear to God, like 90% came true. It was so bizarre. So I do a vision board every year. I take a picture of it. I keep it in my notebook. So I was just looking for it, but I'll share it another day. So.
One of my team members doesn't do the vision board, but he makes a little book that he just always has in his car, always carries with him when he travels. And it's just got pages of stuff that's important to him and his goals. It's like super simple. It doesn't have to be cutting stuff out of magazines. Google image search saves us time with this. But yeah,
I love that your business plan is 7 steps to stay motivated. That's awesome.
Because that's the idea.
Yeah.
Some of it's tactical, but it's also like if you're motivated and driven and focused, like whatever, let's do it.
Without a doubt. So, right on. Well, man, I really appreciate this. It's a great mindset to get into, and it starts now, right, Anthony? We can't wait till January, February. It's now time.
I mean, some of those will take hours really to dig into if you really honor those questions and honor your life and your situation. I've tried to do this in a day because I've been on a deadline. But man, I've done this where I've had a quarter and I don't feel pressured. I don't feel rushed. I can really let my mind go. And I'll choose that every time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to make sure that we get your information out there in the feeds here so people can connect with you, follow up with you if that's you.
Yeah, man. Anthony Merkel, Southwestern Consulting. I'm on LinkedIn. I look like this. Catch me at the next show at the Milton Keys Arena.
Awesome.
That was awesome. You just dropped like 45 minutes of knowledge that just out to the world. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, I love what I do. Thanks,
awesome. And it shows. We appreciate it, Anthony. And enjoy your week and welcome to Q4, my friend. Woo!
Yeah, we'll have you on again. I want to dig into the 20 questions to find your why. So Keith and I will talk about that.
If anybody reaches out to me, that's what if anybody reaches out to me, I'll share that with them. Like if you reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever it is, I'll just share that with you. You know, we don't have the big long conversation. Some people will be inquisitive about coaching and that's what we do. But if you reach out to me, I don't care how, I'll give that to you.
Awesome.
To find your why.
Awesome. Right on. Well, have a great day, man. We'll catch you later. And appreciate everybody tuning in today, and we'll see you. Gotta go.